Hello and welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race recap show for Season 7, Episode 3, titled ShakesQueer. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, 2015, and we are streaming live on Pride48.com. I can't talk. Just as we do every week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined by my two amazing co-hosts from the podcast Dubious Intent Plus. We have Daniel Brewer.
Excuse me, I believe it's Daniel O. Brewer today because it's St. Patrick's Day. Hey, diddly diddly doo.
Wait, let me look. I'm reading this. I want to. Are you wearing green?
I am wearing a moss green sweater today. Yes.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Even though it looks gray on the screen, I'm gonna take your word for it. And from the podcasts Big Silly Homo and Cocktails and Cream Puffs, we have the beautiful, the wonderful Ms. Donna Suggarz.
Hello, darlings. Yes. I'm not wearing green, even though I'm Irish. I like the pinches.
I don't even think I own anything green.
I hate green.
Really? No,
Michelle Visage.
You're Michelle Visage. It was I am no. You haven't gotten to that part, Donna, but we'll talk about that later. By the way, we're streaming live on Pride 48, so if you want to tweet out, if you're in the chat room right now and you want to tweet out, you can join us in the chat room, and then you can hit us up with some questions and whatnot over in the chat room tonight. But I was prepared for St. Patrick's Day this year.
Well, we had our first shade of the show already. Daniel basically saying, "Oh, Joe, you didn't put that in the intro, so okay, type that in for next week."
What do you mean? What do you mean? I have moss green khakis on today, and I wore my sweater. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't wear the shirt with the. I'm wearing a white shirt today, as opposed to
Oh, is it a wife beater?
No, well, yes, I work at a hospital with a wife beater. No, it's an Oxford.
Oh, it's the way you were to work.
It's a shirt.
Are you actually in a hospital, or is this more like an office building part of a hospital?
Right. I work for the company that owns the hospital, so we're in a building adjacent to the hospital. So I don't actually work in the hospital. I work at adjacent.
Now, are those your casual? Is that what you slipped into after work?
Like no. I came in. I fed the cats, and I set up a couple of because we've switched to recording at 8 o'clock now, and I get home at 7. So it's like I've been rushing to get clips set and all that fun stuff. So anyway, I'm sorry, Joe Betance, I have derailed you. I'm sorry, Meredith Vieira.
It's all right. Meredith Vieira. Let's get right into it. Excellent. Okay, so on this episode, we start in right when the girls walk into the workroom. And you know what? I didn't write this down. Who was the bitch that went last week?
Sasha.
What was her name?
Sasha.
Bye, girl. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, bye, Felicia. And she had written on the mirror, "Love you, mean it, Ginge for the win."
Ugh.
Which I knew when I saw that Daniel was immediately going to throw up a little in his mouth. Because Daniel, you do not like Ginger Minge, correct?
I do not. And you know what? As I mentioned on the last episode, I did this experiment where I went to a local gay bar to watch the episode yesterday. So I actually went to 168 York Street in New Haven to watch yesterday. There was probably 15 to 20 people there to watch it.
That's not bad, I don't think, for a small town gay bar.
Right. And the bartender told several people that came in and said, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "Oh yeah, well, it's this show that these people," he's like, we didn't have this channel like 2 weeks ago, and the owner called me and said, "You need to buy that channel and whatever." And now we get like all these people. Look at this on a Monday night, like all these people he was like all impressed that like all these people.
Wait, this is a gay bar?
Yeah.
And he's barely figuring this out on season 7?
Yeah, I know.
I'm more shocked that they don't even know the show. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and the bartender was like, "Oh, I had never seen this show until last week, and I was, and blah blah blah." But no, it was still. I saw it there, and yes, I saw that, and I have to say this, Joe Betance. Apparently, I'm in the minority about Ginger because a lot of the people that I talked to last night and I asked them who they were pulling for, they all said that they liked Ginger Minge.
Fucking hate her.
So do I do.
Her.
I'm right now. I'm still ambivalent about Ginger Minge. There are things she does that I think she does really well, and then I think, like in other words, I think she's a good drag queen, but I think she has a grating personality.
I think my problem with her is that when I hear her say things, I know that they are I know that they're plagiarized because she'll say things, but they're so canned that it was like, girl, you just have like a Rolodex of things that have already been written for you to make you seem more interesting.
Well, you obviously see that the following season after the previous, they always like kind of try and be the previous winner. So you probably had her canned lines because Bianca could just whip them out like crazy.
Right. Well, because they were coming off the top of her head. Right. Exactly. And they were also situational. And I think if we go ahead, because I want to get to the point where they were started bitching on other people, because I think
really quickly, because it does happen. Well, let's actually jump right into it. So one of the things that they do is Kennedy and Jasmine actually start talking shit on the white girls. I think it's really an editing thing to set them up, because they're talking about how the white girls think they're all that, and the white girls don't know shit, and blah, 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 and they don't like the white girls.
I don't like these little white girls that had those slim whole bodies, and they look like bean poles. I mean, look at me. I'm so well filled out.
Yeah, her gums are real well filled out. All about I love her little comment. They're all about the runway, not the performance. Well, you know what? That's New York. I mean, that New York drag is all about the runway. Fuck the performance. But the performance is there.
Here's what
sometimes, I mean, what's wrong with the runway?
Right. And I think what it boils down to is this, right? So what you do is drag. If what drag is a huge tent, right? Like, I consider if you are a big leather daddy that goes out in a harness with a collar on and the hat and the boots and the assless chaps or whatever, you're just doing drag, right? That's drag. Drag is a big, wide world of thing. And if you want to call it drag, you're allowed to call it drag. What you can't do is to tell someone else that they aren't doing drag. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to, it's too big for you to be able to define. It's like, if you say that you're doing drag, then damn it, you're doing drag. It's
I mean, if we want to get real technical, if you are dressed in anything that's remotely the opposite sex, you're dressed in drag because you are dressed as a girl, right, as we learned from this episode.
Right, but that's the technical definition of what I'm saying is that in pop culture, in gay culture, drag is just, there's gender queers, there's, drag kings, there's drag queens. It's like there's a whole wide world of drag. And the rule is like, if you say you're doing drag, then okay, you're doing drag, but you don't get to tell someone else that that's not how you do drag. It's like, that may not be how you do drag, but you don't get to define other people's drag.
I kind of feel it's a thing that you see a lot with the older queens when they're on the show. They're going to tell you what drag is, and it's usually directed at the younger queens. It seems like it could be some sort of like ageism thing, that they just feel like, oh, these queens don't know, and this is what real drag is. I'm going to school you on what real drag is.
It was just, I think at a certain moment that the young queens always judge the old queens for not being as fishy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at these old queens. They're busted. They're fishy. They're not working it. And it's like, frankly, your drag is new. Like, I mean, and it's all different. Like, you have to understand that there's so many different types of drag. It doesn't matter. Like, you do you. Let them do them. If you want to judge them, that's fine. But be prepared that if you're not doing you to 100% because you're spending too much time judging others, you're not going to win. You're not going to get very far.
Right. So, but I found it amusing that the Oompa Loompa lady was basically making fun.
Who's the Oompa Loompa lady?
Did you not see that harsh orange foundation she was putting on? She looked like a
ginger.
No, Jasmine. She looked like a damn Oompa Loompa. But anyway, she was basically picking on them for being bean poles, and it's like, she weighs all of 100 pounds. I mean, she's.
I mean, come on. Her first outfit, the very first episode, it was just abs.
Anyway,
that was going to be her selling point. Well, again, like I said, I really do think it was an editing choice that they were using to set it up that these two bitches are going to be going head to head at the end. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So now we cut to the workroom the next day. Yes. And the girls walk in. It's been a day now. They've had a night to sleep. And then this is a weird moment. They have Jaden Dior Fierce comes in and has a gross conversation about her feet. And then Jasmine says, you got to cut the corns off and feed them to the children.
Yeah, I didn't.
I do not want to think about Jaden Dior Fierce on her feet or any. Now, you know what? She's my Ginger Minge. I do not like Jaden Dior Fierce. She bugs me.
I really hate her too. I'm ready for her to go.
Here's the thing, though. It's because I was watching it in a bar. They had the captions on, so I was actually reading the captions there. And let me tell you, that was whoever was doing the closed captions for that show. He's basically having to learn drag lingo on the fly.
Could you also hear it at the bar too?
Yeah, we could hear it, but the closed caption were just on because those are the TVs that they have at the bar normally with the closed caption on. But it was
because what somebody they got rid of, like, ooh girl, you got she-mail, right? They got rid of that, and it sounds like they're doing new things.
To me. So
pardon me?
What they replaced it with is so stupid.
The one last night I thought was so funny though.
It's just like her random ghetto talking. I still don't know what she's saying.
I know, that's why I found it so funny. So the girls get summoned to the mini challenge, and it happens to be an old lady drag challenge called Sissy That Walker. And Rue drives in on a scooter, making that.
Make a comment about Rue?
Yes.
Mama Rue, you're our goddess. We love you. did anyone else notice the massive amount of makeup she was wearing in her boy drag? She was caking that foundation on. Maybe I was just watching in HD, but that was a little much.
Yeah. I will tell you this. No, I didn't notice because I was watching an SD at the bar, but this is what I noticed. And I don't know whether it's because I was watching it in a communal setting or whether it's just this episode was so much better than the previous, but that whole Walker bit, with her on the hover round and doing that whole, fake ready set, and then the beep, 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 that whole little shtick that she did on her little hover round there sold really well. I mean, everyone was busting a gut in the bar, and so I don't know if it was just the communal laughing at it that made me really appreciate that, or whether it's just, someone stepped up the production a little bit, because I thought that went off really well. I
think she sold it well. I think she sold the scooter well. I was watching it in HD, but I was watching far away, so maybe I didn't notice the makeup. I also don't notice those things.
Yeah.
I can spot a heavily powdered face from.
You're not supposed to use powder after age 40, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it gets into the lines of your it accentuates your crow's feet. Anyway,
well, even on RuPaul's podcast, she'll say like, "Oh, I've never done plastic surgery. I've never done anything, but I would if I could." But then on a recent episode, I feel like she sort of slipped and said that she had done some stuff to her eyes or something.
I don't know.
She had done some sort of injection.
I don't know. I don't think Botox counts as serious work. I think she's definitely had some Botox done.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to say about the looks, the old lady drag looks that came out?
I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah. By the way, her computer is broken, so she is somewhere else tonight, and it's doing this horrible Wi-Fi thing. So say what you said again, Jonna, because we lose you occasionally.
I was just saying that the looks were really, really funny. I mean, just to expand upon it, I don't know if they themselves did all that makeup, but they actually put an effort forth, and you can tell a few of them do have some makeup training or are just that experience that it's not just beauty. They know how to do some character.
Yeah. Like Pearl. I thought Pearl's makeup was done really well.
Do you think for this challenge in particular, they had makeup people for them to help get them into the character?
No, because it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And some of them were just really bad. I mean, so it's like if they'd had people, they all would have been good. I think my favorite part of that whole challenge happened after the fact, right? Everyone laughed when they were like, Jasmine, where did you get that loaf of bread?
Where did she get a loaf of bread?
As it so happens, someone linked me a thing on Reddit earlier. I was reading the RuPaul's Drag Race Reddit subreddit, and I guess someone was saying that Jasmine had like 6 suitcases, and one of the suitcases was packed with food, with bread and cold cuts and hot sauce.
Yeah, of course.
And because some former contestants had said that the food there really sucks, and so she had brought her own food in her bag. So I guess the loaf of bread came from her bags.
The fuck is wrong with these people? No, this is your chance to live off some catering, to let someone else pay the food bill.
I thought Max's little old lady performance was really what little bit we got to see looks like that's probably a regular act or a regular piece of her act with the, dancing with the walker. Because we saw her in a previous challenge coming out with scoliosis, with the crutches and stuff. I think, that because she did it really well. She seemed to have a real dance working with the walker, like some kind of actually choreographed thing with the walker there.
Now, as much as I do not like Dior, I give her that when she dropped her cane and then she crouched down and then she tried to twerk, I thought that was really funny. Because it looked like she was just, her knees were hurting, mostly because she's a big bitch and her knees were probably hurting.
They probably really were hurting.
Yeah, no, when Pearl was walking really slow like an old lady, I couldn't tell if that was just because she's Pearl and she's just didn't give a fuck and she was walking really slow, or whether that was supposed to be a character.
I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Pearl, but I'm going to be honest with you. It shows you what a fucking superficial gay bitch I am, because that girl can say whatever, and I'm just like, you're pretty. I love you.
Put on my face. Yeah, we know, Joe.
I know. I love her. Okay, so the winners of this challenge were Max and Kennedy Davenport, and it has just happened last week, too. They got to choose their own teams for the main stage challenge, where they had to put on a parody of 2 Shakespeare plays. One was called Romeo and Juliet, and the other one was called McBitch.
What was the original name of that?
Oh, my God.
I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, they cut to a confessional where Pearl says, what is the real name for McBitch? Macbeth? I don't know. Call me young. Call me illiterate.
Oh, illiterate. It was, Call me illiterate.
And he thought it was a musical group because he's like, I've never heard of them.
He's so pretty. I was like, oh, you're so cute.
So yes, two. What, Donna?
Put the pill bottle down. No. Say no.
Well, I think she's in trouble. I mean, at the end, we saw that Rue gave her a warning. She needs to bring up the energy.
Yeah. So we have the two badly written Shakespeare plays, and of course they immediately break into their group.
They choose the teams, and I think this becomes important because Miss Fame and Violet Chachki is the last one chosen. They were the last two. Miss Fame goes over to Team Max, and Violet is the last one chosen, and she's picked last again. They get more to this in Untucked, but I mean, what do you think is going on? Because Violet does well.
I do know that Violet actually said on the show, "Why am I always picked last?" They cut away to a confessional of her going like, "I don't know why I was picked last again." And half the people that I was watching the show with all went, "We know." Yes, yeah. I mean, I think in Untucked they even touched on the fact that she's won and come in runner up in previous competitions, so she clearly will help your team, right? Because if you went by her past record, but she's just such a prima donna, right? She
is, and I'm going to get to this. I don't know. I actually might be Team Violet on this particular episode. I do think she's a bitch, but she actually might be right here. So Team Kennedy Davenport, they get McBitch, which is a crazy cheerleader parody of Macbeth. Now, Jasmine Dior Fierce is on Team Kennedy Davenport. No, she's on Team Max, actually, right?
She's on Team Max, yes.
She's on Team Max, and she says she doesn't want... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I misread the name here. I'm sorry. We were still with Team Kennedy Davenport here. Jasmine Masters, they're assigning the roles, says she does not want to be the ghetto girl.
I do not want to be the ghetto girl. Clearly, I'm a linebacker, and I'm not playing ghetto.
So she wants to be McBitch, but it seems like McBitch is sort of cast as like the mean girl from like Mean Girls, or like the kind of a bitchy cheerleader, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Violet, they make her the ghetto girl because Kennedy says she's trying to make a point that she wants to put people out of their comfort zones.
Yes.
Which this clearly, when you hear them reading the lines, is not working out for them.
Right. It definitely put the audience out of their comfort zone. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and then they have to switch back, which obviously cuts into their time, and then she casts Jasmine as the ghetto girl, as probably should have been cast, and then Violet is cast as the bitchy cheerleading queen. And so my question to you, do you have any thoughts on that, Daniel? Do you have any thoughts on do you think this was Kennedy's fatal mistake?
I don't know, because I even thought at the time, it's like, you switched those roles back and forth within like the first half hour. It's like, it's not like they took their scripts home and memorized the other, you know what I'm saying? Because they made a big deal about, well, now they got to learn all new lines. It's like, you've maybe read through this once entirely.
Yeah, it could have been very quickly. We don't know the way they edited it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, it really, honestly, it's like for a play that small, right? It's a 5-minute play. You should know all the lines because, I mean, you're reading through it with everyone, right? And,
we'll get to that in a second. But don't you think, though, Kennedy, trying to make a point if you're the team leader and you want your team to do well, why are you trying to make a point and put them out of their comfort zone?
I think that Kennedy's fatal mistake actually came in not rehearsing as a group, which we found out about.
Yeah, we find out later.
But we'll find out about it. I have a clip. I have a clip to play about that. But I want Donna to give her opinion before I play the clip. So Donna, what did you think of? Did you think that was Kennedy's mistake?
It definitely was her mistake. The thing is, you have to think about when you are the leader of that group, you have to think about the fact that if your team fails, you're the first one being thrown under the bus. I don't care how badly someone else fails. If it comes down to, well, the parts were not picked correctly, you're done. It's good. Right. Lip syncing for your life.
Yeah, which I feel later on she sort of tries to wiggle her way out of that. Daniel?
Well, here in her own words, which she gives a clear and concise explanation of exactly what she meant during the rehearsal. So here you go.
Myself, there was sometimes I didn't know when I had to start.
I know when I'm learning a script, I always learn who is what the person before me says, and I knew my cue was pig because she says pig and the pig in a wig. I knew that was my time to say double. Nevertheless, it was a judgment call on my end, so it's no tea. And I don't hold grudges. You don't really care for me anyway. And
that's not the case.
I'm just saying, it's not. We can still be girlfriends after, but we never really was girlfriends from the beginning. It's all about. It's about the game.
So there you go.
That was from Untucked.
Very clear explanation.
And I hope this does not throw me into a dark light and make anyone think that it's a racial issue. Does anyone else notice that the black girls are in for the game? They fuck the community, fuck the friendships. They are there only for the game. I don't. Look at last year with Busted Teeth and Bianca. Like, yeah, she worked with Bianca and she fell in love, but it was all about the game. It was all about.
But I wouldn't classify all the black. Like, I don't think Jasmine is that way. I think this is really a Kennedy and what's her name? The Jaden Deere first. Jaden Deere. I don't think she's as into the game as Kennedy. And I think is it maybe more of a pageant queen thing? Because I know that Kennedy and Jasmine both knew each other from the pageant circuit. But
you think about Tyra. You think about Tyra from the previous season. You think about the one girl who thinks she was Beyonce with the busted teeth and the fucking flip.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, think about these girls who are so fiercely about the game that they just don't care about it.
But I think that's to Daniel's point. I think those two girls are also pageant queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you look at the comedy queens like Trixie and whatnot, they don't seem to be, they don't necessarily seem.
And to go with a white thing is, who was that girl you were doing an impression of earlier, Daniel, before we started recording? What's her name again?
I don't know.
She's white. You were saying, I sounded like I can't remember her name now. She's
Alyssa Edwards.
Alyssa Edwards is a pageant queen, and she was in it for the game too. So, I think Daniel's right. I think it's a pageant queen.
I was just drawing a conclusion.
No, it's all right.
What I saw, but I think that makes complete sense. And the pageant queens are just about winning. And girl, I mean, you gotta have fun when you're there too. It can't just all be about the game all the time.
What's that documentary about the pageant queen scene?
Pageant?
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Huh. No, my favorite one is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Well, that's obviously not a documentary.
Yes, it is.
I fucking love that movie. But no, Pageant was actually really amazing because it had Pork Chop Parker.
Yeah.
Season 1, first girl out on season 1, and showed the fact that she was an amazing drag queen, she was an amazing performer, and she was an amazing person. So, I mean, I actually really, really enjoyed that documentary because it really got to show that Pork Chop was not just some busted queen, like eating cereal out of a sand pail.
So we go to commercial. We come back to the workroom. Now we're going to meet up with Team Max as they start breaking into Romy and Juliet. It's another thing here. There's not really much to say here because I think Team Max actually probably worked pretty well together. They try to build some sort of false drama for suspense, but it looks like they pretty much got along. We do get to see a hint, though, what we'll see later, where Jaden is already a problem with the way she's reading the script. There's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Jaden has trouble reading the script. But other than that, it seems like they all got along.
Yeah.
I had a way of saying that Jaden has a problem reading.
I think what can be, they clearly did a much better job. As we found out later in Untucked, Max was it says that he was choosing team members strategically of people that, that he thought would do well in acting and whatnot.
So he was being intelligent.
But what I wanted to say was, so this comes from Reddit today. But apparently last night, Ginger Minge was hosting a RuPaul Drag Race viewing party at Hamburger Mary's in, it doesn't say where, but
probably in California somewhere.
Okay. I think there's only Los Angeles.
No, there's one in Fort Lauderdale. There is.
There is.
Yeah, there's one in Tampa, Florida. But anyway, it's a chain, right? But the point is that she was hosting a viewing party last night, and she talked to the audience during the commercials, and she said, this is a secondhand account, but she said that Ru read Team Kennedy during that rehearsal, that to the extent that Ru told them to shut the cameras off and then call them out on their bullshit for about 20 minutes, and that Ru was furious at them going in. So even before, the final runway thing, Ru was so pissed off at this group.
Oh, so the read happened during the rehearsal with Ru.
Yes, and this is bared out. This is actually bared out to be true. I mean, I give it some credence because in Untucked, we find out that Jasmine had already packed her bags before even doing the final dress. She was so, in one of her interviews at the end of Untucked, she was just like going, I thought for the first time in Drag Race history, she was just going to walk into the workroom and go, you know what, you're not even lip syncing, you're just fuck out of here. It was like, so it's like, it was a bad enough read that they knew, right? That they knew that one of them was going home. I mean, it was like that.
I realize that this isn't a secondhand account that happened, but Ginger Midge needs to watch herself. Because anyone who's a fan of Johnny McGovern and his podcast back when it used to be this amazing production, he will remember a little bit of a cease and desist from the World of Wonder for someone who likes to spill the tea, and you signed a contract, bitch.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised that Ginger Bitch doesn't know how to read either, because she's over there just opening her mouth and letting her gums swing.
Well, it depends. I mean, this is all secondhand accounts, so we don't know. But what we do know is that we do know what Jasmine said, that she had her bag packed ahead of time, and, what I'm saying. So it's like, clearly it was a bad enough, fuck up that they knew that they were going to go. And even in Untucked, they said the cut of that we saw must have been very generous, because the other group was saying that it was just, that they really got read, and that was on Untucked. So.
All right. Well, we move back to Team Kennedy here, back to their rehearsal, just to go back with what Daniel was saying. And then that's where they switch the characters, because we see Jasmine can't get the sassy McBitch character down. Violet can't get the ghetto girl down.
Romans, hunting men.
Now, at this point, right before we go to the rehearsals, Violet wants to rehearse.
Yes.
She thinks they should run through it one more time, and Kennedy shuts her down. Yes. She says, no, we just need to all read on our own.
Yes.
Which I think this becomes important, because in Untucked, Kennedy sort of tries to distance herself from that, doesn't she?
Yeah, that was part of the thing I was just playing there.
Yeah.
That's part of that argument there, yeah.
Yeah, but we see it happen right there, that Kennedy's like, no, we're going to read on our own. Right. Okay, so now we go into the rehearsal with Team Max. Again, not that much happens without the other people, but then, and I want to get to my enemy, Jaden Dior Fierce, goes into this bizarre meltdown, and she's like, I want this so bad. Like, none of the other queens want it bad, but I feel wasn't it just last week where it was her foot?
Yes. Now, I'm not one to make excuses, because I don't like it when people make excuses.
Yeah.
But
and then it's just been 2 weeks of excuses.
Is it clear that your boyfriend is on too many pills and Dior's maybe not on enough pills?
I know. He should give her some of his pills.
Well, but they obviously don't like each other, so why would they share?
Oh, do Jaden and Pearl not get along?
I don't have the impression that all of those girls have just been they've made their little cliques and they're sticking to it.
It's funny to find out. Well, I guess we found out just through secondhand through Untucked that Trixie and Max went to school together.
Yeah, they sort of dropped that in there. They haven't really elaborated on that. Yeah, but Trixie and Matt went to school together.
And then when Trixie says, "Don't we all just love Max?" and then like cunty face goes, "I don't."
No, but she was
to be able to dress.
She knew, you know what's going on. You're being misleading. I'm actually going to defend Ginger Minge a little bit there. But anyway.
Does you kind of look alike?
I think I'm not, you're talking to the wrong Joey, Queen.
All right, move along.
Okay, so
however, the animated GIF of the day that won the internet today was the one of Pearl running into the tree trying to walk off stage.
Oh, I never saw that.
In chat, I have to see.
Yeah, I didn't see that on the episode.
Oh, yes, she tried to walk off the stage and she hit the tree.
I thought there was an instant GIF. Did they make a GIF, Daniel, of when this is going to be visual, so the listeners won't see this? But when Trixie claps her hands together and just puts it up like, "I give up," like silently.
No.
I thought, oh, that's like a GIF waiting to happen right there.
Then you should make it.
I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm a Luddite.
I wish there was an interconnected series of tubes that could help you to figure it out.
I'm sure I could figure it. I think there's actually now websites where you can just put in what you want and it'll make it for you.
Google actually has a website.
Yes.
Oh.
Move along.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on. Now we go to the Team Kennedy rehearsal, and now we know this is where everything falls apart. Let's actually talk about my boyfriend. What was that weird fucking masculine voice she was doing when she was the narrator?
Romans, hunting. You know what? I think it's kind of the Pearl character, because if you remember her entrance on episode 1, she comes in and she goes, "Sup?" Like, I think she gets, it's kind of like that genderqueer kind of drag thing where maybe she likes to speak in a really deep voice because she just has a masculine voice as a boy, and she doesn't feel right doing a fake woman's voice.
Or she so feminine looking, she has to throw you off by speaking in such a butch tone.
Well, the other thing is she's so boring. That's the most interesting thing she can do is play on that. Because, yeah, she's right. She looks really feminine. She's really fishy, so she's super funny.
Neither of you were in the Pride 48 chat room, but I did post a link to the Pearl running into a tree.
Oh, I thought you were going to post it in the Google Hangout.
I'll post it there for you. But, you're ignoring our one and only listener, RT Cruiser, in the chat room, so I just figured, that I would...
Okay, here we go. So again, total meltdown here with Team Kennedy. Where Team Kennedy does a weird masculine voice. Then Kennedy and Candy Ho, which doesn't really get, because Jasmine is such a fuck up. Kennedy and Candy Ho can't get their lines down when they're doing the boil, toil, and trouble stuff.
Yep.
And then
because I know that pig is my cue. I know when she said pig in a wig, that's my cue.
Yeah, there we go. So I just saw the gif right now of Pearl bumping into the tree. That girl is seriously on some hardcore. She's on
not only that, but what
downers.
was with her outfit? Was that weird little cod piece in the front, and she's supposed to be playing a head cheerleader? I don't know. It was really.
I actually don't. Maybe Donna can fill us in here. I don't actually even really understand why did they remove their dresses? Because at one point they just removed their dresses.
I have no clue. How the fuck would I know?
I didn't know if there was some sort of like drag thing there that was missing, like some sort of inside joke. But they just all took off their dresses, and I didn't know what was going on with that.
Maybe that was something more Shakespearean. I have no fucking clue. I don't understand half these queens.
Yeah, well, I also thought it would be explained in the actual filmed version, but no, it doesn't really make any much more sense there. So Rue sort of bails out. She says, let's just move on. And then Rue does say, as an omen, in 7 seasons, she's never seen a car crash like that before.
Now, can we talk about that for 1 second?
Sure.
This annoys me, and it happens a lot of times with RuPaul, is that she will say what is a commonly known phrase, but she'll fuck it up and then like somehow make it seem like she meant to. Like, what do you mean car crash? I think you mean train wreck. It's like, that's the phrase, right? It's like, it's like, I've never seen such a train wreck. Who ever says car crash? That's not even the phrase, right? That's kind of like Candy Corn saying, that this is not on her alley or whatever. It's like, girl, it can be in your alley or up your alley, but it ain't on your alley.
Well, Daniel, she's from Los Angeles, and we don't have many trains. But there are a lot of cars, and anyone who knows a good rubbernecker knows that when a car crash happens, everybody wants to stop and look. And that's why we have traffic.
The other thing, Daniel, I don't know if you listen to the podcast regularly or not, the RuPaul.
I have not. No, today was, I heard a piece of it today. That was the first time. I did not even know it existed.
Okay. She messes shit up all the time, and Michelle calls her on it, and she just sort of laughs it off on the show. But she has trouble talking. Yeah. And it's sort of a common theme on the podcast that comes up quite frequently.
Well, I don't want to derail us because, from this train wreck. But, I just like that was one of those things. So, yes, this was apparently where they told her, she turned the cameras off and read them to filth. So.
That makes sense, because they were really sad the next day. So we're back in the workroom. It's elimination day. And Jasmine says, because, Jasmine's worried about herself. And she says, because she's so stoked on her dress, she says, I know for a fact this is the best dress that ever walked down the runway of RuPaul's Drag Race ever. In fact, let's actually cut to the chase here a little bit. Donna, you've seen the looks?
Yes, I have.
Let's just stop right here. Let's just talk about Jasmine Masters here. Was that the best dress that ever walked down the runway of RuPaul's Drag Race ever?
No. That dress was straight out of some secretqueens.com. I've seen that pattern before. That dress probably cost her about $350. It was a gorgeous dress. I'm not going to deny her that black and white beauty, but it wasn't like it was hand-beaded for her. I can go online and order that same dress in my size.
Someone said that dress must weigh 100 pounds, and she said yes. I think it was Michelle Visage that asked her.
This dress is very heavy. It's not that heavy.
No, well, just say what she was saying. To me, this seemed like a stupid move on her part. It's like, if she knows she fucked up so badly in the reading, then why wear an outfit that's going to inhibit you dancing if you know you're going to be lip syncing for your life? Why? That just seemed like really poor planning on her part. It's like, if you know that you're going to, if you have a reasonable suspicion that you are going to be, you the most fucked up person on a fucked up team, right?
This is where you're making the mistake. I think she knew.
I don't want to defend her, but I will say that there are many times that someone does a very shitty job on the challenge, but has an amazing runway, and the runway has helped them stay safe.
Yeah, then you don't smear shoe polish on your chin. You use spirit gum and put an actual beard on.
Yeah.
explain this to me? Because I'm so confused. Like, I don't know if I must have breezed through that section. I don't get the beard thing. What did Rue talk about the beard thing?
No, it's just every runway has a theme this season, and we don't know what they are. So last week, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the challenge. Last week was, Travel Eleganza. This week was the bearded lady. So
Conchita Wurst. I think they were trying to do a play on Conchita Wurst.
And the one thing that annoyed me the most was that I don't care who you are. I don't care what your religious background is. There is no way you can tell me that when you saw Violet Chachki walk out, that you didn't go, oh my God, it's Jesus. It's like, and yet no one made that comment on the panel. It's like, she looks like Jesus with that beard and the hair. And it's just kind of like going, oh my God, it's Jesus.
Jesus in a pink dress.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. Actually, we haven't gotten to the dresses yet, but Kennedy and the older queens were upset with the young queens. And Ginger, in a confessional, says that Mrs. Kasha Davis, herself, Ginger Minge, Kennedy, and Jasmine are the bitter old lady brigade.
Which is the worst name for a group ever.
Well, it shows you, Daniel, that she has all these clever lines, that those were pre-written before she got there.
Oh, wait. God damn it. Oh, hold on. I got to do this. Keep going. I got to find this clip.
We also go ahead, Donna.
The title is the worst. Is it bitter? Is it old lady? Is it brigade?
Just all together.
Feel old.
Individually, I don't think any of those words are bad. It's just putting them in that sequence together to describe yourself as a group just seems to be.
By the way, is Ginger Minge really that old? I mean, I know Mrs. Kasha Davis is older and Kennedy and Jasmine are.
Ugly.
Say it again, Donna. Say it again. What?
She's I don't know if she's that old, but she looks old. And
yeah, that could be it. And then Ginger goes on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Ginger goes on and tells a story about a cancer lady who used to go to her show.
Oh, can I do that? Can I do it? Yeah. You know what? These young, stupid queens, they're all a bunch of cunts, and I really, really hate them. In fact, I really would like to take a shotgun and blow their fucking heads off because I'm a horrible, horrible person. And I'll tell you something else. Once there was a woman that had cancer, and I went and organized a drag pageant for her. And I did everything. I made the drag performance happen to this woman with cancer in hospice because I'm such a good person. I healed her back to health.
But they went to hospice and did
the power of my drag.
What's funny is I realize you're joking when you play that music, but at the same time, I could also picture her. Like, I could picture her in her mind going, this is the moment that they'll start playing this song.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was exactly my point, Donna, which is she's sitting there trashing people, right? And then she looks over and sees that the camera are on her. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she breaks into this sad sob story about how she cured a woman with cancer. It's just kind of like, oh, for God's sakes, you're just playing to the cameras, you cunt.
Now, what's funny is, so I look at all the last looks, and I did little OneNotes for everybody because I was trying to take notes. And for her, I just put nasty. When she comes out, and it's not me trying to be mean. It wasn't like me trying to hate her, but she just comes out and just like, nasty. Like, the dress was ugly, that corset was ugly, the hair was ugly, like, just nasty.
Well, actually, let's actually jump over there. Let's jump over to the main stage first. Rue's outfit, and Daniel, do you have any thoughts on Rue's outfit? Donna, do you have any thoughts on Rue's outfit?
I have thoughts, but I'll let Donna go first.
I think her outfit seems very simple to me. I don't know who designed it. I think it's beautiful because I don't think I've ever seen her wear anything ugly. I think the hair. I love the hair.
The hair was amazing.
I want the hair.
Here's the thing that struck me about the dress. She comes out, and of course, it's a lime green undertone over the black dress over the top of it, and that's what we saw on the runway. And we all know that Michelle Visage hates green, especially lime green. But when she's sitting at the judging panel, suddenly I can't see the lime green that I saw up on the. It's like now I'm seeing skin. It's like, did she remove the lime green underpannings? Did she switch a dress when she sat down or something? Because when I see her behind the desk, I don't see the bright lime green coming between the flaps of the dress. I'm seeing her skin. So it's like,
honest. Do you put it past Rue to go to her spot, sit down, and have someone from the camera crew say, yeah, that green just doesn't look good with the lighting, and just have her be like, okay, well, let's rip this shit off.
Maybe.
And I think on the podcast, Rue has said too, once they do the walk under the table, she's already like
in sweat with sweat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So maybe that was just an uncomfortable thing to sit in or whatever. But it just struck me. It's just like, wait a second, you were wearing lime green just a second ago, and you're not now. That's right.
So she goes to the end of the runway. She looks great. And her guest judges this week, Kat Dennings and Mel B. We're probably not going to come back to them. They didn't really do anything particularly interesting. But do you guys have anything to say about Kat Dennings or Mel B?
I love Kat Dennings, but I found her really boring this episode.
I like Mel B. I watch America's Got Talent every year, so I do like Mel B. But this is the second week in a row that this is suddenly becoming a thing here that's going to lead me to ask this question. Where the fuck is Ross Matthews? Wait, isn't he supposed to be like a new judge this year? It's like,
I think maybe he was a guest judge, and they just mislabeled the press mislabeled him.
What do you mean the press?
Well, because I didn't see I never saw an official thing from. It was from things I read online, just like, oh, Carson and Ross are the new judges.
Videos on YouTube about the fact that he was taken over.
Oh, really?
yeah. Maybe.
World of Warcraft. World of Wonder, trust me, I do it all the time. World of Wonder put out so much shit about these new hosts.
Yeah, they did. But I'm thinking maybe because, this is a television show, right? It has a production schedule over, 13 weeks or whatever. Maybe he started off as a guest judge, but then they brought him back and they liked what he did. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he did a good...
Well, no, they do this show really, really fast. I think it's done in a little over 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Really?
So maybe after a couple of days... Well, I would say maybe he's busy doing something else, but what else is there?
Yeah.
Does he still have his show?
Yeah, he still has a show, I think.
It could be. Look, if you think about it, it's only been 2 episodes. So in theory, it's only about really 3 or 4 days since he's been on there. He could have easily had some sort of
food poisoning.
Some sort of like engagement that he couldn't get out of for a week.
All right.
But that's 2 episodes. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Ross Matthews.
Tied up and slain.
Okay, so let's go to the looks. I'm not going to really have that much to say about the looks. Do you want me to run down with them one by one, or do you guys have any thoughts just in general?
Let's run down it, girl.
Max, any thoughts on Max?
Loved it.
Loved it. I put ringleader. It was very circus chic, and I love the fact that the mustache was kind of curled in a weird way.
Yes.
What about Ginger Minge?
Nasty.
That's right.
I don't remember.
Trixie Mattel.
I put Viking goddess. I love that wings feel. It was very Viking.
Yes, I love the headdress, and I love the fact that even though Trixie wasn't doing a Barbie character, she still kept her same facial makeup, so it was kind of like you knew it was Trixie, right? She has like that patented Trixie face, but in a more glamorous setting.
They look so big. They're so dark, but they're so big. Yeah. I do love her eyes.
For future reference, Daniel, if we can't do it today, we should come up with a sissy that walk bed that we can do underneath when we do this.
All right.
Mrs. Kasha Davis.
Who?
I just put Crow.
Oh, I think there were a lot of black feathers in it or something.
Black. And I realize that some people think black is slimming, and I don't know if you think it make you look older. And then the black and white hair was just, girl, no.
What about Jaden Dior Fierce?
Who?
I put fugly. I don't even remember what the outfit is. I just know I wrote the word fugly. What did she wear?
I don't have it in front of me. We should probably come up. We can look at it together.
She was the one that had she had the different color hair from the different color beard.
Yes.
And it was not a beard. It was once again that 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes.
It was just I just put fugly.
Miss Fame.
I put Peggy Bundy with a beard. I like it.
I seem to recall liking Miss Fame's.
It was a tight, like, paneled dress with the big red hair. Like, it was cute.
Yeah.
Kennedy Davenport.
It was alopecia.
I have one.
You had to put on a beard.
This is what I have to say about Kennedy Davenport, which is
Who thriving?
I got this dress on, girl, so I didn't tuck her nothing.
Bitch, my gap is wearing me.
What did she say? I actually put a question there for what did she say?
Whose pussy's throbbing?
Oh.
Yes, it's not bleeped in one of the other YouTube clips, but yes, that's...
She's a big bitch. What does she got to tuck? Okay? That's what happens when you a big bitch. That's the name of my autobiography, okay?
Who had the box on top of her head?
That was Candy Ho.
Okay.
Yeah. And for her, I put Fu Manchu squared.
Mm-hmm. I did like the little suspended box hair. I thought that was cute.
I do. It was, yeah.
Katya.
Abraham Lincoln. I like that one.
Yes, I did too.
Yes.
I was so worried because I didn't, before they panned out and all I saw was like, oh my God, bitch is pulling a milk and she's coming out in pants. And then when they zoomed back, I'm like, okay, bitch is in a gown. Okay, that's okay. Mm-hmm. It was cute.
Jasmine Masters.
Who? Linebacker, love dress. That's all I wrote.
hobo in a dress. It is. It's like, remember when you dressed up as a hobo for Halloween as a kid and you had put the shoe polish on your, look at me, I'm a hobo. It's just like, that's I'm sorry. That's just sad.
It. And why did she purposely age herself by going with a slightly gray beard?
I know, it was.
That beard excuse was so lame. It was so lame.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl.
But Jesus.
Pearl.
Oh, no. Pearl. Oh, damn it. What
weird, because it had all those weird red things, so it really wasn't a beard.
I liked that, though. I thought that was kind of creative that she like just didn't do just a slap on a beard or whatever. She made a little, I mean, clearly they know the themes ahead of time because she made this little fabric beard. I thought it was cute.
The hair, there was something so off about it. It just looked weird. It looked like a weird chin strap.
Yeah.
Candy Ho was next, but we covered her already, correct? She was in with the hair box. And then finally, Violet Chachki.
Yes, Jesus.
Yeah, very much Jesus. I actually thought the dress was cute. I thought it was a little short. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe, it was very 50s, but it was a little short for me.
Yes.
But I love the fact that the wig and the beard perfectly matched, hair color wise.
So then we went to commercial, and then they played the two final videotape results of the plays. Did we have anything really to say from the final?
I laughed out loud at the point that Pearl came up elevator style from up top and then didn't say anything. It was just like this really random, I'm supposed to make a narration thing, but she just popped up and stared into the spotlight. It was bizarre. Yeah.
I want to talk about a commercial. I've only really just sort of seen it when I go past the commercial. I don't really actually watch. I think maybe I will next time. But what the hell is boy butter? And they keep pushing this boy butter commercial.
Boy butter is used. It's a type of lube. It's thicker. It's a thicker lube. It's more of a paste, like a pomade. And originally it was used a lot more for fisting, but now they're cream. That was good fisting cream because you need that good like Vaseline. You get the fist.
Hi, Hedda Lettuce here for Boy Butter, the hottest gay male personal lubricant on the market today. You may be asking yourself, why is Boy Butter so special? Besides its creamy texture and delicious smell, it's leaps and bounds over those silicone-based lubes on the market.
There you go.
Let's just buzz through this. We have back at the main stage, Team Max wins. They win the whole thing. They are dismissed.
Not only does Team Max win, but Max wins.
Max also wins, and Jaden Dior Fierce is given kudos for overcoming her fears.
She did, and those outfits that she won. What the fuck?
Oh, the latex outfits?
Yeah, some kind of weird leather latex dungeon outfits or something with spikes.
Every single year somebody wins those latex. I think last year it was the winner was the one that came out as a cockroach.
Oh, that was Ben de la Creme.
Ben de la Creme. So Ben de la Creme won the latex outfits last year. You're just kind of looking at that going.
Well, what's funny is Miss Fame could use those latex outfits. Both Ben de la Creme and Max, they're old school kind of they harken back to an olden time. They're going to come out in latex.
Well, I'm sure she can sell them and get her own.
Figure something very cool out with a latex outfit.
All right.
That's true. Okay, Jasmine does not, because then Jasmine comes out during the Team Kennedy's up for elimination. Jasmine talks about how she didn't want to put the beard on. Something having to do, she have to go to the hospital if she puts that spirit gum on there?
She had an allergic reaction at some point, and she didn't want to take the risk of doing that because it would mess up her skin for the next 30 years of her life.
I'm a makeup artist, so let me go ahead and just throw this out there.
Yeah.
Now, she probably used it a very long time ago. Currently, spirit gum, it used to be a type of sap. It was more of a natural product.
Yeah.
It was like a sap.
Yep.
And there were a lot of people allergic to it.
Yeah. And she basically...
I had my issues too. Nowadays, it's artificial.
Right.
I don't know anyone who's allergic to spirit gum now.
And I think this really, when you take into account the Untucked performance and, the fact that she was packed and ready to go, I think she had just resigned herself that she was like, fuck it. He was like, I had an allergic reaction a long time ago. I'm not going to risk this because I know I'm walking out that door tonight and I have to go work in a club next week. So.
Nope. I don't care if my fucking skin is sloughing off and I'm bleeding all over the stage. My ass is going on that stage with a beard on.
There you go.
Yeah. So Violet brings up also on stage during the elimination that she wanted to run through the script once, and Kennedy shuts her down. Kennedy says she is not going to take instructions from anyone.
Right.
Which I think that I would have eliminated Kennedy just for that.
And this is when RuPaul gave her little, no more goddamn excuses.
That's when Ru lost it, which is so funny because I was thinking from a producing standpoint. I mean, say what you will about Jasmine, she's infinitely more television interesting than Kennedy. Kennedy's so boring as a television personality. I mean, Jasmine Miss Masters is going to mix shit up. So
you say that. When Kennedy won the challenge, I kept going, wait, which one's Kennedy again?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I watched every episode and I'm like, wait, who's Kennedy again?
Kennedy's the one that plays the bearded lady in every challenge.
Yeah, you know what's funny too is Jasmine Masters, clearly you can tell who she is. Jaden Dior Fierce with her excuses, you can tell who she is, and you still don't know who Kennedy is. Right. She's the only other black one. You still don't know who she is. Yeah, so I was sort of shocked by that. So anyway, the girls, go ahead.
You say coming from a producer point of view.
Yeah, like from a producer, because what happens is, go ahead.
Don't you think it'd be more entertaining for us to show RuPaul flipping out? Like not even like the full flip out where it makes her look crazy or anything, but don't you think they should have been like she's done this before where she's like, well, I talked to them, and then they cut to previously during the challenge, and they cut to a video of her. They've done it on Untucked where they'll just cut to it just like, and then show her freaking out or like her trying to talk them into it. And they could have edited it to make her look calm and just angry.
I'm going to tell you something. There is a weird producing thing with them because, like I said, I went last year to the finale, and I'll probably go again this year. And last year at the finale, those girls were shady-ass bitches. Shady, throwing shade and reading each other on the stage. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good show. And in the finale that aired, you would think the queens loved each other. So I don't know. They have some sort of like all the queens that get along kind of thing. But anyway, we have to wrap up here. So what we learn is that Jasmine Masters is sent home after what I feel is a lackluster lip sync performance. Do you guys agree?
If that dress weighs as much as she says, not 100 pounds, but if that dress was, I mean, it was kind of impressive that she was kind of basically doing Russian squats with a really heavy dress on. I mean, that was kind of impressive. But yeah, it was a very lackluster performance. And I think she knew that going in the Untucked episode. She's like, if I'm up against Kennedy, I'm just not going to move my mouth. And she was just coming up with excuses. She knew that she was going home, and she was just trying to, basically be able to play it off as saying, you know what, I meant to throw it. It's like I wanted to leave.
Before we go, I've got to ask, what's up with the statue?
I kind of love it. I love it.
Is it like you're a loser, take your statue and leave? This is your departing prize? That's it?
I think so.
I think it's really good gay humor, too. Just to watch even girls crying and holding a silly statue like that is so funny.
That's going to end up on eBay.
It is. Okay, I think we're going to have to wrap it up right there. Coming up next is Ramble Redhead on the stream.
Yeah, I just told him we got 2 minutes here. But yeah, so I want to say, the other thing about Jasmine is there's another show on Logo called What You Packin' with the Michelle Visage, and interviews the evicted person the next day. And Jasmine, and basically goes through their wardrobe, give them a chance to show, if you had done the Snatch game, who would you have played, and can you want to show what was the one look you wanted to Jasmine wouldn't show her any of her dresses. She's basically she's like, no, they're already packed up, and because I didn't get to wear them on TV, then I'm going to keep them and use them for something else. And
that queen is bitter.
Code for either didn't pack enough shit or fuck you.
No, I think she's going to try and petition to be like a Shangela. She's trying to position herself like, bring me back next week.
That shit again. They got so much shit for it last time.
I know you're right, but I don't think Jasmine realized that. She's like, I could be the next Shangela.
All right. Joe Betance, take us out.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another recap of RuPaul's Drag Race. Join us next week live on Tuesdays on Pride48.com at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you didn't get to hear it live, you can always download the show wherever you get your podcasts. So until next week, for Daniel Brewer, Donna Suggarz, and myself,
sashay away. Until next week.